Hi, welcome back to part 2, where I am sharing this week all about my 25 years as a personal brand. How did that happen? I mean, not that that's how I'm necessarily labeling. I'm like, hi, I'm a personal brand. I'm not doing that. But I think that's probably the best phrase to encapsulate the fact that I've been blending my skills for the last 25 years. Today, we're talking about money and 5 lessons I've learned. I am not a financial advisor nor an accountant, but my goodness me, I have learned a lot about money over the last 25 years, not just from a numbers on a spreadsheet situation, but everything from negotiating to selling to budgeting, to managing, to asking for what I need, to money mindset. I mean, you name it, all of that. Which brings me on to point number 1. And let's start here. You learn by doing, kind of like love. I think sometimes there is a gap between what we think something is and what it's actually like in reality. And I think that sometimes we can view love like that. You know, when you were a teenager and you were maybe like working out which member of Take That you were going to marry, like, I really think because we've got compatible star signs, and his eyes are green and he likes coffee and my eyes are green and I like, that kind of moment. But actually, relationships and love are work and compromise and alignment and regrouping, and they have peaks and troughs and all of those sorts of things. And you only realize what that's like when you're in one. And that's the same with money. And that was really a case that I had to do it. I had to learn it. I had to get it wrong. I had to be brave. I had to work it out. I had to find a way through it. And this leads me on to my second thing. Just going back to the first one, you can read all the money books that you want, or you can listen to all the inspiring podcasts of how somebody made $1 million overnight or whatever. You're not going to know what that actually is and what it takes until you do it, until you get it in your body. And so it's really important every step of the way to check in and make sure that you're actually doing it. You're not just being inspired. And this is a self-development trap that we can all fall into. I'm going to listen to this because I want to get inspired. And now I need something else to become inspired about. And then we don't take the action. We just stay in the inspired state. So learn by doing. If you want to make more money, it's time for you to take an action in order to make that happen. You learn by doing it. Number 2, mistakes are inevitable. And we have to give ourselves kindness and compassion and grace through this period. And everything in us and everything that society wants to tell us contradicts that. Because there is this assumption that we have to get things right the first time. Or if we make a mistake, she always does that, or whatever. This is not to say don't take responsibility for yourself and just move on like, yeah, sure, whatever, it doesn't even matter. But it's to also give yourself that grace and that sympathy, and to unlock that shame. If you are in the game, you're going to have some knockbacks. You're going to have hard times. You're going to have difficult things. So make friends with those mistakes that you've made along the way in terms of money. Close them down, work through them. Don't carry it going forward. So you might say, I had a really bad business interaction with this kind of person, so therefore I'm never going to do anything like that again. And maybe on reflection, it's a case of going, well, you know what, that happened. And it was the wrong time for each other. And actually everything in my gut instinct was saying no. And I didn't ask enough questions. So next time I do it, I'm going to have a different set of an agenda and be able to maneuver my way through that. So mistakes are part of it. Most people, I'm going to say like all people, make mistakes. And that is life. And I always go back to those moments where my kids were babies and they started to crawl and suddenly they were up on the sofa, you know. And I love this age, this kind of 10, 11 months, year phase where they sort of like start to go along the sofa and then they dangle, they like take their arm off and you're like, are you gonna walk? What's happening? What are you doing? And my job at that stage as their mum was just to say, that's it, you're doing it. Look how strong you are. Look, you can do this. You can move forward. I never said to them, right, you haven't done it the first time. That's it. You're never going to walk. Right, come on then. Oh, I'm not interested anymore. You would never have that as a relationship or watching somebody or teaching it. So turn that compassion and that patience back to yourself. Really, really important. Number 3, look for evidence. It's out there. People are sharing their bank accounts, their Stripe accounts, their handbags, their closets, the things that they've bought, the breakdowns of their launch, whatever it might be. The evidence is there. Look for it. Become inspired. Notice what people do. Borrow bits of information. When people go, I just don't know what to do, I'm stuck, that means it's time for you to take an action. And I think when we're stuck, we want somebody to come in, but we have to go first. We have to move first. And unless we do, that action is not going to maneuver us in that way. So look for evidence. It's out there. If you're stuck, if you're feeling a bit downtrodden with the whole thing, find it. It's out there and it's ready for you. And people are out there openly sharing things. And you could say it's like, oh, probably bloody show-offs. They wanted to do that. Most people don't. Most people are like, here's what's possible for you as well. Great. Yes, please. Number 4, there is money available. And how can you be the one to receive them? How can you show what you do? So let's break this down. At any given point, any minute of any day, any second, money is circulating. There is a high street over there. And I know that when I walk past it, there are people on the tills buying stuff, buying stuff, buying stuff. And yes, there might be necessities, there may be essentials in there, but also I live in North London and there are a lot of people buying stuff they don't probably need on first glance, but they want it. They want to, they're happy to part with their money. And so when we say, or when we get caught up rather in like nobody spending money, no, like that really negative mindset, it's not true. You only have to walk down your high street. You only have to go on a website. And sometimes you get these things of like 59 people are looking at this. Or sometimes if I go on websites, it's like 202 of this product have sold in a weekend. And suddenly when I do the maths on like 202 people have bought this £30, oh, okay, we're talking numbers here. That is happening all of the time. So open your eyes, pay attention to all these things and give yourself that permission to also receive it. Because I've also noticed that over the years that whatever state that I've been in, I've always been required to pay for stuff. I mean, rent, mortgage, bills, water, food, clothes, transport, council tax, all of the above. So it's okay for you to receive it as well. And in order to receive, you have to think about an action. How can you show people what you can do? How can you show people what it is that you offer? How can you show people how to pay you? We have to get back to the practicality sometimes of the situation and go all in on that. Number 5, it's an ever-evolving relationship and it gets to be so. If you haven't got the life of your dreams by, 25, it's not over. It's not over. Many of us are going to be working a long, long time. And at 43, I feel like I'm just getting started. And that is a great place to be. I'm like, cool, what's possible now? And, my kids are older now. So those times in my 30s where I'd be hard on myself going, you're not doing a kitchen extension or whatever the thing was. That was okay because I was at home with my kids. I might do a kitchen extension in my 40s or my 50s. And it's really thinking about these things. You've got time. And so Build that ever-evolving relationship. Be in communication with it so you can find a way. I hope that's been useful. Lots of love. Please subscribe to the channel, to the playlist. If you want to find out more, come on over to Create Your Income Pie. I would love to help and support you, and I'll see you in there.